It's getting close. Feels good, doesn't it? Being more than human. But there's a price. Do you know what it is?
We're not safe here.
Someone turned their trackers off.
What did you do?
What is up, everybody? Jeremy Eisenfire here, and welcome to the channel. As we approach the final 2 episodes of Alien Earth, things are really beginning to heat up. With new revelations coming to light and storylines beginning to converge, one is left to wonder just how exactly will Season 1 end. And as we take a look ahead at Episode 7, entitled Emergence, it looks like there are some very interesting things on the horizon, including the obvious question, just what exactly is about to emerge. And based on the ending of Episode 6, along with some of the earlier trailers for Alien Earth, I think we have a pretty good indication as to what it could be referring to, and how it might even have a dual meaning for the next episode. Plus, with things continuing to heat up for Wendy and the hybrids, what exactly will be their next move, and will they ever successfully make it off the island? After the containment breach in Episode 6, followed by the death of Toodles, it looks like all hell is beginning to break loose at Prodigy. And based on the Episode 7 synopsis, it looks like betrayals will come full circle and loyalties will be tested, leading to a massive confrontation at the end of the episode. But when looking at what the episode title could be referring to, Emergence, a few different possibilities certainly come to mind given where we are at this point in the story, with the most obvious being the emergence of another Xenomorph. Towards the end of Episode 6, we saw Dr. Arthur have an unfortunate encounter with a facehugger, and based on what we know about the Xenomorph's life cycle, we know that the next step will be the emergence of a baby Xenomorph bursting through his chest, which will not only result in Arthur's death, but also have the unfortunate side effect of having yet another Xenomorph running around on the loose, which is just about the last thing that Prodigy needs right now given the current state of affairs. But unfortunately for Prodigy, I get the feeling that this is not going to be the only emergence that we see. When taking a look at some of the earlier trailers for Alien Earth, there are a few very interesting shots that we have yet to see in any of the episodes, in particular surrounding the plant-like creature, a being that we still know next to nothing about. But it looks like we're going to get a very bloody crash course on exactly what it is very soon, which could also potentially tie into the title Emergence. Towards the beginning of the season, when we first encounter the plant-like creature, Kirsch states that it presents as flora, but could still very well be fauna. Making me wonder, is this indeed a plant at all, or something else? When we look at some of the earlier trailers for Alien Earth, there is one in particular shot of this plant-like creature that we have yet to see in any of the episodes, and it almost appears that something is emerging from within inside it, making me wonder if this could potentially be some sort of cocoon. And if so, just what exactly could be inside? After all, when looking at this shot, it does appear as though something is struggling to emerge from inside, making me wonder if what we've seen up until this point is simply a chrysalis of sorts. After a cocoon is usually formed, the metamorphosis process then begins, where inside the pupal castings, a caterpillar's body will undergo a radical transformation, breaking down and redeveloping into an adult structure, with the third and following step being eclosion, also known as the emergence, where once the transformation is complete, the adult insect then emerges from its cocoon. Could this shot that we have seen in the earlier Alien Earth trailers that we've yet to see in any of the episodes indeed be the hatching of this cocoon? And could the earlier dialogue of Kirsch, stating that it presents as flora, but could still very well be fauna, have been a foreshadowing of this? And of course, another possibility is that it is indeed a plant-like structure after all, and the shot in the trailer that we have yet to see in the show is simply a shot of it catching its prey and devouring it. After all, we do see this other shot of what appears to be its bottom tentacles covered in blood, indicating that it may have just fed, which could make it some sort of carnivorous plant. And when looking at some of the limited information on this creature that we do have, we can see that it is referred to as D. plumcare, indicating that it does indeed attack animals, with the animals usually succumbing to asphyxiation or dying from exhaustion. Whatever the case ends up being, I am certainly looking forward to seeing what this plant-like creature really is, and how it really operates. And speaking of some of the earlier trailers for Alien Earth, and in particular, some of the interesting shots in the trailers that we have yet to see on the show, there certainly are a few scenes that could be an indication as to what to expect over these final 2 episodes. And when adding these scenes from the Episode 7 trailer, a clearer picture begins to emerge as to what might play out, giving us a potential answer as to how the hybrids and Morrow all end up locked up in the same cell. When looking at the trailer for Episode 7, it appears that Wendy has had enough of Prodigy and is trying to hatch an escape plan. And judging by the shot of Wendy, her brother, and Nibs walking away from the compound, it looks like they indeed at least make it outside of the structure. But unfortunately for them, it looks like they are not going to make it off the island. During the Episode 7 trailer, we see Wendy talking to Nibs and Curly, trying to convince both of them that Prodigy isn't what they thought it was, and how they might be in danger here. But given Curly's obsession with becoming Boy's favorite, I get the feeling she was unsuccessful in convincing her to leave, especially considering it appears that Curly is nowhere in sight when they depart from the compound. And given Curly's ambitions, I expect she'll run straight to Boy and tell him of Wendy's plan, leading to their inevitable capture. Although it may not have had the desired effect that Curly was hoping for, as it appears that she ends up in the cell with the rest of them. Although it still begs the question, how exactly is Morrow locked up in there as well, as he doesn't appear to be anywhere near the island when these events occur. Or so we thought. But after looking closer at one of the earlier trailers for Alien Earth, we see this one particular shot of what appears to be Morrow disguised as one of the Weyland-Yutani soldiers that invades the island. And seeing as at least some of these soldiers have some kind of encounter with a Xenomorph at some point while they're in the jungle, I suppose it's not too much of a stretch to see how Morrow may have been captured, giving us our explanation as to why they're all in the same cell, which could also set the stage for the encounter that Nibs and Morrow seem to have. In some of the earlier trailers for Alien Earth, we see a few shots that we have not seen yet on the show, one of which being this shot of Nibs with her face covered in blood as she is seemingly on top of someone, with that someone potentially being Morrow himself, as we also see what appears to be Morrow lying on the floor of that same cell, followed by another shot of Morrow looking like he has a very bruised face like he's just been in a nasty fight, potentially stating to the hybrids that it feels good to be more than human, but it comes at a price. Could Nibs potentially have another break with reality causing her to attack Morrow? Or could something else be going on here? One thing we notice about Morrow's bruised and battered eye is how it appears to be his left eye, which up until this point seems to be the only eye that the T.O. Celis goes for when trying to attack a new victim. Could the T.O. Celis potentially have gotten out of the sheep and into Morrow somehow? And if so, could seeing the creature somehow trigger some earlier trauma that Nibs still has from her previous encounter with it, causing her to snap and rip it out of Morrow's eye, thus explaining the blood on her face as she appears to be kneeling over someone, which would line up a little bit more with her physical movements as well, as she does almost appear to be tearing something away rather than hitting something. When we take a closer look at the trailer, it does appear that Morrow simply has a black eye, and almost looks like his eye is still intact, although trailers have been known to not put the full versions of the CGI in them for fear of spoilers. While it appears that it is simply a bruised eye here in the trailer, the final version in the actual episode could be completely different. But definitely let me know your thoughts and comments down below. How do you think this interaction is going to go? And what exactly do you think will be emerging in Episode 7? Are we simply dealing with a carnivorous plant? Or could this be a cocoon or chrysalis of some kind? But that is going to do it for our Episode 7 preview breakdown. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on your way out and consider subscribing to stay up to date on all of our upcoming Alien content. And don't forget to come and join us live every Tuesday night for our Alien After Show. And as always, I want to give a big thank you to everybody out there for watching, and a huge thank you to all the channel members, and we will see you on the next one.